Hello and welcome to Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. Thank you for joining us. I am Lydia Odije Ochi. Less than 7 weeks to the end of his tenure of office, President Muhammadu Buhari has returned. Oh, we apologize for that break in transmission. Now let's continue. Less than 7 weeks to the end of his tenure of office, President Muhammadu Buhari has returned to the Grand Kaaba in the holy city, Mecca. His mission? To say thank you to Allah for his enormous blessings, guidance and protection in the execution of his mandate, as well as pray for sustainable peace, unity and prosperity of Nigeria. Teta's correspondent Adamu Sambo will tell us all about it.
Umrah, otherwise called the Lesser Hajj, is an act of great significance for the sake of Allah and amongst the best deeds Muslims can perform when pleasing Him. Apart from the bountiful rewards to be derived as well as forgiveness of committed sins, all prayer requests made here are considered granted. For President Muhammadu Buhari, who is rounding off his 2-term tenure of office, there is no better time for this ritual of remarkable consequence than now. And in line with the Sunnah of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, the President, accompanied by members of the first family, traditional rulers and religious leaders, with humility, reverence, utmost concentration and sincerity, performed tawaf, the circumambulation of the Grand Kaaba, as well as sa'i, going between Safa and Marwa. Intermittently, prayers were offered for both personal and greater interests of the Nigerian nation.
This is significant for him, firstly, to finish very strong. Throughout the Umrah, President was busy praying for Nigeria, for development, prosperity, peace, stability, and many more. And he prayed for a very successful transition of his administration to the incoming administration.
He has done the best for the country, as he has always said. And the time for him to go is now. And so his prayer is of thankfulness to the Almighty for making it possible that he has attained that aspiration he has harbored for so long, fought so hard to achieve. And for the nation, President Muhammadu Buhari is prayerful, is also hopeful that God will help those who would succeed him, hold their hands and lead them so that they will build on the successes that he has recorded in the 8 years of his own administration.
This is the 4th time President Muhammadu Buhari will be performing the Lesser Hajj since coming to power in 2015. During his stay in the holy city, expected to last about 1 week, prayers will continue to be held for divine intervention in the affairs of Nigeria.
This country doesn't belong to him. It belongs to all. He only happens to be the leader. So the way he prays for the success of the country is necessary for all citizens to pray for Nigeria, and secondly, to put our prayer in action by trying to ensure that there is peace in the country, there is stability, and there is also unity. Don't only say, but we have to put that in our action. And this is indeed very critical.
President Muhammadu Buhari had made enormous sacrifices. There are a lot of things that he had to put up with. He didn't have to. And so therefore, Nigerians, they need to say thank you to Mr. President. And I bet you, if they don't say it today, the day will come in the future that they will look back and say, oh, thank you, President Muhammadu Buhari. We now know that you did your best for Nigeria.
President Muhammadu Buhari was earlier accorded a befitting welcome on arrival at King Abdulaziz International Airport, Jeddah, by a high-powered Saudi Arabian government delegation led by the Deputy Governor of Mecca, Prince Bandar bin Sultan bin Abdulaziz. From Mecca, Saudi Arabia, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Back home, the 2023 NTA Ado-Ekiti Ramadan quiz competition has come to an end with Crescent Schools Ado-Ekiti announced as the winner. The quiz competition, which is part of this year's NTA Ado-Ekiti Ramadan programs, has participating schools from different towns in the state. Ayodeji Ogunshakin reports.
Convergence of Muslim and Arabic schools from both private and public primary and secondary schools in the state in the mood of this holy month of Ramadan.
Fasting is important.
Participating students were quizzed on Islamic-related questions, not only to test their educational prowess, but also improve their knowledge in the Islamic religious studies. Crescent School Ado-Ekiti scored overall points to emerge the winner, while Nasfat Ado-Ekiti came second, and Ansaruddin Comprehensive High School Ado-Ekiti came third. The general manager of NTA Ado-Ekiti, Segun Ojelade, who was represented by the manager administration Lamid Hakim, said the Ramadan quiz competition gives Muslim children sense of belonging at this period and to contribute to their educational development, which is one of the NTA's mandates as a federal government media establishment. Students, teachers, and guests at the event appreciated NTA Ado-Ekiti for organizing the program, describing it as a welcome development.
Thank you, because this program motivated us.
I really appreciate NTA that make this program come out today.
They appreciate the gesture, and we are still expecting more.
Prizes were presented to the winners, while other participants went home with gift items and certificates of participation. From Ado-Ekiti, Ayodeji Ogunshakin, NTA News.
The federal government has so far disbursed 50 billion naira on poverty reduction in the country from the 400 billion naira approved for the execution of the program. This was made known after a meeting of the Steering Committee of the National Poverty Reduction with Goals Strategy, held at the Presidential Villa and chaired by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo. Explaining the position of the committee after the meeting, Governor Abdullahi Sule, who is the co-chair of the steering committee, says more still needed to be done in achieving the 100 million goal mark of the administration.
And from what we receive from the chairman of the technical working group, over 50 billion has been spent so far. So the performance so far is low, is not yet where we expect to go, but nearly every aspect of the 15 areas where the spending will be carried out, Ministry of Social Development, Ministry of Agri, Ministry of Health, Ministry of Water Resources, and the Ministry of Finance and National Planning as well. So every one of them has some kind of implementation one after another.
It will be recalled that the National Steering Committee on National Poverty Reduction with Goals Strategy was inaugurated by President Muhammadu Buhari in June 2021 to focus on 15 key areas germane to poverty reduction in the country based on recommendations by the Presidential Economic Advisory Committee and the Office of the Secretary to Government of the Federation. The 2023 National Population and Housing Census is just a few weeks to go, and preparations towards its successful execution are at advanced stage. Now, the National Population Commission is integrating the public agencies involved in information and sensitization to promote the benefits of the 2023 census to the citizenry.
The last population census that was held in this country was in 2006. You will all agree with me that the population of Nigeria had increased by at least 30%, at least.
One, the national census is for development.
We want to use this census to further show our lead in terms of population, inshallah.
People who have migrated from their places of residence to another place. We have actually taken care of that in the census. First, you will be counted where you are. That's the essence of the census.
The 2023 Population and Housing Census is slated to hold in May. Now, for more on the 2023 National Population and Housing Census, let's join Amina from our Kaduna Network Center.
Welcome to Kaduna Network Center. Minister of Information and National Orientation, Lai Mohammed, has described traditional institutions as strategic partners whose role is critical to the success of the 2023 National Census. He stated this to a representation at the Palace of the Emir of Kano when the National Publicity Committee on the 2023 Census paid an advocacy visit. Aminu Umar reports.
It is now less than 3 weeks to the much-awaited National Population and Housing Census, with the day drawing closer by each tick of a clock. The National Publicity Committee is in Kano on advocacy and sensitization, with Palace as the first port of call. Although the Emir is not in town, the committee was received by the senior council members led by the Madakin Kano, Yusufun Nabahani Chigari, who expressed the Palace commitment to seeing the success of the national census. The leader of the committee and the Director General, National Orientation Agency, Garba Abari, underscores the critical role of traditional institutions in view of the reach to the subjects.
When you visit the palace and you ask specifically what you want the palace to do, such request will automatically go down. Once the approval is given, the communication will go down, right down to the last person on the communication chain.
The committee has Director General of NTA, Salihu Abdulhamid Dembos, and his colleagues of other federal media establishments, among other key stakeholders, as members. In Kano, Amin Umar, NTA News.
Equitable distribution of resources, mediation, and equality are some of the veritable tools that promote inclusiveness for good governance. Haruna Mohammed reports that this is the thrust of the Iftar Peace Summit put together by Muslim Peace Network in Kaduna.
A gathering of adherents of Islam and Christian religion for a peace summit in the month of Ramadan is significant to the growth and social cohesion of the nation. Drawing from the classical and Islamic legal doctrines, the guest speakers narrate the importance of running an inclusive system of governance in Nigeria. They emphasized on equity and good governance as a panacea for quality leadership that will be acceptable by all. The speakers narrate the disadvantage of running a non-inclusive government.
I will encourage the new government to make sure that what is due to everyone is given to them, and we should not use, because we say we want to have competency and neglect inclusiveness. Competency and inclusiveness can be found in any group in Nigeria. Because
inclusiveness will be that a Muslim, Christopher and Mustafa can walk on the road again. Mary and Miriam can still walk on the road and still walk tall.
Questions were entertained and answers provided.
Our objective is that to go to the grassroots, especially to sensitize our youth
our secondary school students, our primary school students, our tertiary school students, so that they know the importance of peaceful coexistence.
Us as individuals, in our communities, and the country at large. If there's no peace, we will not be able to function well. There's no government that can function well. There's no family that can function well if there's no peace.
To wrap up the event, there was a breaking of fast in unison with the Christians amidst exchange of pleasantries and brotherly love. In Kaduna, Haruna Mohammed, NTA News.
And that's it from here. We now go for
Thank you for staying with the NTA and welcome to Benin. No fewer than 3 suspects have been arrested by the Delta State Police Command in connection with the killing of APC chieftain Sylvester Iferobo in the state. In an exclusive interview with NTA, the Delta State Police Public Relations Officer DSP Idafi Bright says the deceased was murdered in his residence at Agbaro, Nugeli, Delta State. Ifoma Okafo reports.
The deceased, who hails from Agbaro, alleged threat to his life by unsuspected persons before he was killed recently.
We are aware of the murder of one Sylvester Iferobo, who was murdered on Easter Sunday, on the 9th of that very day, at about 9:30 p.m. We were made to understand that he said the wife said the husband had the voice of an animal and went out across his house towards the other end of the train, the railway line where he was murdered. He was murdered in cold blood, and at about 10 p.m. they reported at the police station.
He said that 3 suspects have been arrested. An investigation is ongoing to unravel the stories behind his killing.
With time, we'll be able to give you more details as to their involvement in the act. But for now, they are currently in custody based on the outcome of our investigation so far.
For now, the family will only wait for the outcome of the police investigation to get justice for their loved one. Ifoma Okafo, NTA News.
Security to religion. Fasting in the month of Ramadan comes with a lot of blessings and rewards, which include forgiveness of sins and renewed faith in Allah, the author of success and prosperity. The guest lecturer at the 11th Ramadan lecture of NTA Benin Network Center, Ustaz Abdul Hafiz Sani of the University of Benin, stated this while speaking on the topic blessings of fasting in the month of Ramadan. Jude Abugu has details.
Ustaz Abdul Hafiz, who in his lecture emphasized the need for abstinence, charity and kindness during Ramadan, reminded the faithful about the ultimate goal of fasting, which is piety and fear of Allah.
You will enter paradise through the door of Ar-Rayyan. It's a honor. And so, the Prophet ﷺ said, when they have entered, Allah is going to ask that the door should be shut, that no one will enter except those who have fasted.
In their opening remarks, the Zonal Director NTA Benin Network Center, Pauline Igbano, and the Chief Imam of Benin Central Mosque, Abdul Fatai Enabulele, described as a privilege the opportunity to observe the holy months.
I see it as a demonstration of God's love and desire to see Nigerians live together in harmony, irrespective of their faith and denomination.
We thank Allah for creating us as believers. And we thank Allah for allowing us to witness this year Ramadan fast.
We have so many things to address in our society. And as Muslims, let us be part and parcel of such solutions.
The Ramadan lecture featured recitation of Quran, even as the faithful prayed for Allah's blessings upon the outgoing Zonal Director, Pauline Igbano, who officially signs out from the service this week. In Benin, Jude Abugu, NTA News.
And that's it from Benin. Nationwide continues with Lydia in Abuja.
Many thanks, Obehi. So far, 7 injured persons have been rescued with no fatalities recorded as debris is cleared from the building that collapsed on Wednesday, April the 12th, 2023 on Banana Island, Lagos. Amaka O, who visited the site, will tell us more.
Journalists met fierce resistance from security operatives at the entry point of Banana Island, the site of the collapsed building. There was vehicular traffic for obvious reasons. For these journalists who arrived as early as 7 a.m. to follow the trending havoc, it was a violation of press freedom to deny them access to the property. Efforts were also made to prevent government officials from speaking to the press. This aroused more curiosity. The resistance of determined journalists continued until we reached the last entrance to the construction sites.
We appeal to good people of Lagos State. We appeal to the developers. We appeal to everyone to abide with the rules and regulations. Nobody, I say loud and clear, is above the law. We are talking about the safety of life and properties in here.
As we have all our agencies here, the LAPSCA, physical planning, and all other government agencies doing what they are supposed to do professionally. Once that is done, we'll be able to ascertain the current status of this and the next steps will be taken.
Upon entry, evacuation was underway while the twin towers next to the collapsed building appear weak, so journalists had to tread with caution. Investigations are ongoing to establish the actual cause of the collapse. Authorities say integrity tests will be carried out on the other structures in due time. In Lagos, Amaka O, NTA News.
And now to issues concerning politics. The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) in Niger State says all is now set for the conduct of supplementary State House of Assembly elections in the 4 affected local government areas of the state, scheduled to hold on the 15th of this month. The State Resident Electoral Commissioner Ahmed Garki Shao stated this during a stakeholders meeting held in Minna, preparatory to the polls. Musa Mukail reports.
Results from some polling units were cancelled during March 18th governorship and state houses of assembly election due to some challenges that include overvoting and violence, hence the need for supplementary election. The stakeholders meeting is therefore aimed at discussing the issues around the supplementary election. Resident Electoral Commissioner Ahmed Garki explained that the exercise will be carried out in the 11 affected registration areas across 15 polling units in 4 local government areas of the state.
On the INEC part, we also assured them that they will see changes in terms of deployment of logistics, in terms of the deployment of personnel, to ensure that the right people were posted there. The vehicles is perfectly working.
This supplementary election will be equally successful with the cooperation of the security agencies and the political parties and their candidates.
Stakeholders, including security agencies, CSOs, were optimistic the supplementary election will be hitch-free in Minna. Musa Mikhail, NTA News.
The National Secretary of the People's Democratic Party, Senator Samuel Anyao, has emerged the candidate of the party ahead of the November 11, 2023 Imo State governorship election. Chukwubuike Chukwu reports more than 900 delegates participated in the primaries.
The primary election, which was held at the PDP Secretariat, saw Senator Samuel Anyang pulling a total of 802 yes votes against 7 no votes to emerge the consensus candidate of the People's Democratic Party in the forthcoming governorship elections in the state.
I, Right Honorable Kele Tukun, the chairman of the panel, on behalf of other members of the panel, hereby declare the distinguished Senator Samuel
In his reaction, Senator Samuel Anyang thanked delegates and leaders of the party for finding him worthy and assured the people of the state of immeasurable dividends of democracy if elected governor. He further promised to unite all aggrieved members of the party ahead of the November 2023 governorship election. In Owerri, Chukwu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, some members of the National Executive Committee of Labour Party have refuted claims that a new chairman and secretary have been appointed to act following the suspension of Julius Abure and other officers by the FCT High Court. Bashir Lamidi, Apapa and other officers who were acting after the court order were resisted at the party secretariat, leading to a heated argument between the two groups. Some state chairmen who are NEC members expressed displeasure over the attitude of the officers.
We have not met, and we told them go and wait for the court to decide. We have taken matter to, but they don't want to do that. They are taking laws to their hand. Every day they keep coming. When they discover that we travel for an assignment in the south, so they came here quickly to come and cause this trouble they are causing. And that's why we left and we are back.
It is now left for you to force them to bring it to NEC. If NEC ratifies that, it stands. But if NEC said no, overrules them, you are back. Why bringing down the roof of the house?
The acting officers believe that by virtue of the court decision, they have the mandate to assume authority.
No matter where they think their own allegiance is to Abure, but on the face of the law as it stands today in Nigeria, Abure cannot come into this building because he has been restrained by the FCT High Court, himself and 3 others, from parading themselves.
The Abuja High Court is to sit on the suspension order on the 17th of April. Amidst court litigations challenging the outcome of some of the concluded elections, a coalition of civil society organizations have cautioned against clandestine plans to supplant an interim national government, saying it might not augur well for the country. Timothy Yusuf reports.
Litigations on the aftermath of the February 25 presidential election, major opposition political parties have rejected the polls, while the Department of State Services, DSS, had also confirmed plans by some persons to disrupt the forthcoming transition of power slated for May 29, 2023. Nigerian Peace Advocates, a non-governmental organization, is concerned at what they described as the continuous promotion of incitement and uncomplimentary statement from some aggrieved politicians and other enemies of the country who have also systematically taken cover under the pretext of the conduct of elections to cause chaos and disharmony among citizens.
We are not in any way siding with anybody, but we are siding with our own country because the country belongs to us.
As a nation, we need peace. We need unity.
The negative situation that is on trial, they say, needs nothing less than a holistic healing of the wound and reconciliation to salvage and secure the country from imminent threat of disunity. Meanwhile, the Leadership Council of the Initiatives, an agenda-setting college of former and serving National Assembly members, at a media interaction in Abuja, are appealing to the political parties and their senators-elect to zone the position of the President of the Senate to the south, as well as micro-zone it to the south-south for equity and justice.
Is that what I say, Senator? God's will to go and back people. It is best for this job.
The unity of Nigeria is above every other consideration, the group emphasized. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
You're still watching Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. Felicia is standing by with more reports in Jos.
Welcome to Jos. Plateau State Standing Committee on Population Matters and 2023 Population and Housing Census has been inaugurated. Ndenyang Andayabagang has details.
The 11-man committee is made up of 4 members from the National Population Commission and 7 from the Plateau State government, with the mandate to support the commission in creating awareness on population activities, communities' involvement, and ensuring the mop-up of children in the state, as well as providing accurate data for inclusion in the population statistics. Others are to support efforts to expand and upgrade the routine of registration of births and deaths in the state, and attend to any other matter relating to population activities and surveys.
While congratulating members of the committee for accepting the offer, the Federal Commissioner of National Population Commission in the state, Cecilia Dapoet, says,
I have confidence the Plateau State Government will provide the needed political will and support the committee to achieve our mandate.
Governor Simon Lalong, represented by Secretary to the Government of the state, says this year's census is another opportunity for the state to revalidate its population size to enable it plan adequately for the growth of the state.
When you have valid statistics that can take valid decisions, so it's on this note that we as a government hold it very high esteem.
The committee has the Secretary to the state government as chairman, commissioners for health, finance, local government and chieftaincy affairs, education, information and budget as government representatives. In Jos, Indenyan and the Abuja, NTA News.
Away from matters of census to legislative matters, Plateau State Police Commissioner Bartholomew Onyeka says the premises of the Plateau State House of Assembly will remain sealed until speakership tussle is resolved. He stated this while briefing newsmen on the outcome of his engagements with some of the legislators. Saadatu Mohammed Kafa reports.
For more than 2 weeks, the Plateau State House of Assembly has been sealed off by police following a court judgment reinstating the former Speaker, Nuhu Abok Ayuba. On the 3rd of April 2023, the reinstated Speaker, who was impeached by 8 members on 28 October 2021, sat the next day, being 4th April 2023, with 9 members comprising 5 from PDP, 3 from APC and 1 from Labour Party. The next day, the camp of the former Speaker, Yakubu Sanda, and the police appealed for a stay of execution of the court judgments, reinstating Nuhu Abok Ayuba as Speaker, Plateau State House of Assembly. Following the development, the police sealed the assembly complex for peace to reign.
The deployment of police personnel to the State House of Assembly wasn't targeted against any person or group of persons. It was merely preventive to maintain peace, protect lives and properties, and to prevent the breakdown of law and order.
A meeting was later convened by the police at the office of the State Police Commissioner in Jos, attended by 4 members of the State House of Assembly in Jos. Saadatu Mohammed Kafa, NTA News.
And that's all from Jos. Nationwide continues in Abuja after this break.
Thank you for staying with us. The Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has nullified the ward and local government congresses purportedly conducted on February 7, 2022 by the All Progressives Congress APC in Kogi State. The presiding judge, Justice James Omotosho, gave the order in a suit filed by some aggrieved members of the APC in Kogi State. Dela Tumbi of our judiciary desk reports that the congresses were for the purpose of the party nominating its governorship candidate for November election.
It, as a pre-election matter, was filed in line with the provisions of Section 84 of the Electoral Act 2022. Justice James Omotosho voided the 2 congresses on the grounds that they were not conducted in compliance with the Electoral Act 2022 and the Constitution of the APC. The court barred the Independent National Electoral Commission from recognizing or using the unlawful delegates list that emanated from the unlawful congresses for the party for the purpose of selecting its governorship candidates. Justice Omotosho, while nullifying the purported ward and local government congresses of February 7, 2023 ordered APC leadership to conduct fresh ones that would be in compliance with Section 84 of the Electoral Act 2022 and Section 13 of the party's constitution. The court agreed with the plaintiffs that the APC in Kogi State failed to conduct ward and local government congresses as stipulated by relevant provisions of the law. The court held that during the trial of the case, the APC failed to disclose the venues and time where the purported ward and local government congresses were held, and also failed to show the report of INEC officials that purportedly monitored the elections. The court therefore ordered APC to conduct special ward and local government congresses in line with the provisions of the relevant laws, especially Section 84 of the Electoral Act 2022 and Section 13 of the APC's constitution.
The APC in Kogi State ought to have conducted special ward congresses to elect delegates that will eventually elect the party's candidates for the governorship election, but none was conducted at all at any ward. And it was based on that our clients approached the court to say, look, there was nothing, but they just saw a purported list submitted and that the list should be set aside.
The court dismissed the plenary objections raised by the APC that the court has no jurisdiction to entertain the suit and that the plaintiffs have no locus standi to file the matter, while at the same time insisted that the course of action was its internal affairs. In Abuja, Dele Atumbi, NTA News.
When disputes between litigants come before a judge for adjudication, all parties to the case are normally expectant that justice will be dispensed impartially. However, when judicial decisions are perceived as below expectation, it raises questions about how well the courts are knowledgeable about the issues in dispute. Olabode Arewa will tell us more.
A situation identified as one of the reasons for what is sometimes seen as unfriendly judicial pronouncements is when judgments purportedly go against public opinion. Now, legal practitioners and law enforcement officers have identified poor legal research on the part of courts as a constitutive factor for this.
As researchers, you have to give the updated judgment. It's not 1960 judgment. So when you search this software, it gives you the most recent judgment.
In the continued efforts at improving the capacity of judicial research assistants to optimally deliver on their assigned duties, these research assistants are familiarizing themselves with current approaches, courtesy of the support of the National Judicial Council.
Appropriate technology will enable our courts to render speedier and more effective and efficient justice and thereby earn confidence. This will empower and enable courts to preserve and protect democratic values and freedoms.
With all that is loaded in a computer, all the judgments of Supreme Court, all the laws of the Federation, they have brought a mobile library into the room and the desk of every judge. So the judgments is going to be more qualitative and be written within shorter time.
Going forward, the judiciary expressed that the knowledge impacted on these judicial aids would manifest in the quality of the support they give to judges and justices manning the nation's courts. In Abuja, Olabode Arewa, NTA News.
Airstrike by personnel of the Operation Well Punch of the Nigerian Air Force have neutralized many bandits in Benin local government area of Kaduna State. The Kaduna State Commissioner of Internal Security and Home Affairs, Samuel Aruwan, in a statement says his ministry received a distress call of armed bandits attacking Sabonlai village in Benin local government area of the state. The statement adds that the ministry therefore alerted the personnel of the Operation Well Punch, who responded to the location and neutralized calls of bandits. Governor Nasir El-Rufai has commended the Air Force personnel for the prompt action that led to the success of neutralizing the bandits. The struggle for who occupies the leadership positions of the would-be 10th National Assembly has begun within supporters and members of the governing All Progressives Congress. Saliu Gwanara reports on one of such engagements between the groups and National Working Committee of the APC.
In less than 2 months, the 10th National Assembly will be inaugurated, having produced the president and majority lawmakers. The struggle for the leadership positions of the 10th National Assembly, particularly the Senate, is what endeared the support groups to these strategic engagements.
An appeal for the consideration and adoption of Senate President of the Southeast extraction in the 10th National Assembly based on character profile, competence, and experience.
Factors which are highly embedded in the personality of distinguished Senator Osita Isolaso.
Nigeria, no doubt, stands on a tripod: the Hausa, the Yoruba, and the Igbos, and as we said, Wazobia. And the clamor for the effective integration of the Igbos into the mainstream of the Nigerian politics will be achieved if Osita is made the president of the Senate of the 10th National Assembly.
Nigeria must unite.
Meanwhile, the Natives, a non-political organization, has appealed for post-2023 election dialogue to promote unity and advance Nigeria's democracy.
I encourage you all to stay like President Muhammad Buhari stayed. And this is the process of development. To begin to work together and think and how to work in synergy.
The group has pledged to uphold the culture of preaching peace, particularly among the youth. In Abuja, Salio Gwanara, NTA News.
We'll now take a final stop at Lagos, where Hingino is standing by with more reports. Hello, Hingino.
The Lagos State House of Assembly will no longer tolerate unilateral appointments made by the state government without recourse to the approval of the Legislative House in line with its constitutional powers. Speaker of the House, Mudashiru Obasa, gave the warning at a plenary session in Lagos. Musa Toliad reports.
The lawmakers demanded to know why the state government has continued to violate Section 196, Subsection 2 of the Constitution, which mandates the Assembly to screen nominees before being appointed by the government. The motion was moved under a matter of urgent public importance by the Deputy Majority Leader, Honorable Naim Adams.
As the Chairman, House Committee on Legislative Compliance, I have observed that majority of the boards, appointment to boards and other agencies were not brought, they did not appear before this noble House of Assembly.
Some lawmakers see the action by the state government as an attempt to usurp the powers of the state assembly.
If they need to rescind that decision, withdraw those appointments so that we can do things in the right manner. And this house must be respected.
And it is our constitutional right that those people that have collected so much from this state without being cleared should please recover such back to the cover.
Speaker, Lagos House of Assembly, Right Honorable Mudashiru Obasa, however, warns that the Assembly will resist any attempt to put the principle of separation of powers in jeopardy.
It's totally an infraction and a violation of these House laws. And immediately, those that have started receiving salaries should be stopped immediately, and the letter issued to them by the head of service should be withdrawn, pending their appearance before this House.
The House of Assembly resolved to summon the Lagos State Head of Service, the Accountant General, and the Commissioner for Training and Establishment. In Lagos, Musa Toliad, NTA News.
That's it from here. It's now back to Lydia in Abuja.
Thank you, Hingino. The Nigeria Sovereign Investment Authority, NSIA, has joined the League of 1 trillion naira entities as it continues to seek for profitable investment that will add to the authority's growth trajectory. Musa Abubakar reports that Managing Director of the authority, Aminu Umar Sadiq, said this at the presentation of NSIA 2022 financial year performance in Abuja.
It's been a challenging year 2022 for most businesses as inflation, supply chain disruption, and Russia-Ukraine war continue to have impact on economic activities. Nigeria's Sovereign Investment Authority was not immune to these problems, but its business practice and resilience had seen it through tough times.
Despite all of these challenges, NSIA once again delivered very respectable performance. Of course, it had to be a reduction relative to our 2021 performance, where these challenges simply were not the case. But despite that, I'm proud to say that we delivered revenues of over 100 billion naira. We increased our net assets by over 10% to more than 1 trillion naira.
The authority recorded 10 straight years of continuous positive earnings despite volatility and headwinds across global markets. Net assets grew by 10.5% to 1.02 trillion naira in 2022. Earnings from interest income, infrastructure business revenue, and fiduciary activities, management fees increased by 34.5%, amounting to 15.7 billion naira year-on-year growth.
Directors. In terms of the 2023 outlook, we are reasonably confident that it could not be as bad as last year, but still we have to be very cautiously optimistic. We have to make sure that we manage a diversified portfolio, particularly on the FGF side. The sustained high crude oil prices mean that per the PIA, some amounts should accrue to NSIA's bottom line.
From 1.6 billion to more than $2.2 billion net asset, the NSIA boss is optimistic that the organization will continue to thrive through its value addition to Nigeria. In Abuja, I am Musa Abubakar, NTA News.
Next is Sports Update.
Actions resumed Thursday at the 2023 National Under-17 Cricket Championship Finals at the Cricket Oval of the Moshood Abiola National Stadium in Abuja, with Team Northwest defeating Team Southeast by 90 runs to 5.
This is also a platform for us to pick the best out of all the good players who will be called to camp before a final team of 14 will be picked to represent the country.
In the first game, we are seeing such talent, so there's belief that in the next coming games, we will see a lot coming.
The championship, which began Wednesday, is expected to end on Sunday. In football, defending champions Bayelsa Queens secured a 1-0 away victory against Osun Babes at the Osogbo Township Stadium in one of the Group A features of Match Week 13 in the Nigeria Women Football League decided Wednesday. In other results, Rivers Angels beat visiting Heartland Queens by the same scoreline, while Niger Rattles vs Delta Queens ended in a barren draw in Abuja. Delta Queens are top of the group with 25 points, followed by Bayelsa Queens on 22 points. Rivers Angels are third on 19 points. In Group B, Edo Queens recorded an emphatic 4-0 home win against Ibon Angels. Adamawa Queens also secured a 1-0 home win against Abia Angels. Edo Queens topped the standing on 2 points, 1 point ahead of second-placed Conference Queens, with Robo Queens occupying third position with 19 points. Still on football, Real Madrid Wednesday at the Santiago Bernabeu secured a 2-0 victory over Chelsea in the first leg of their UEFA Champions League quarter-final encounter. Goals from captain Karim Benzema and Marco Asensio handed the advantage to the Carlo Ancelotti side ahead of next week's visit to Stamford Bridge. In other results, 10-man Napoli lost 1-0 away to AC Milan at the San Siro. In the meantime, hostilities resumed Thursday evening as the Europa League quarterfinals get underway. Dutch side Feyenoord play host to Jose Mourinho's AS Roma. Sporting Lisbon is away to Turin to face Juventus, while Manchester United take on Spanish side Sevilla at the Old Trafford. With sports updates, I am Chukunonso Mwabweze, NTA News.
The first memorial lecture in honor of an expert in the Nigerian power sector, late Joseph Makoju, has been held at the Federal University, Lokoja. The lecture highlights his efforts and contributions in developing the power sector. Francis Udojo reports.
The inaugural lecture was attended by the family of late Joseph Makoju, government officials, academics, media practitioners, traditional rulers, as well as guests from various walks of life. The lecture titled Challenges of Electric Power Sector Reform in Nigeria, The Way Forward, reflects the life and times, national contributions and vision of late Joseph Makoju in the Nigerian power sector. The power sector then, NEPA, according to the guest lecturer Dr. Godnose Igali, had challenges until late Makoju stepped in.
He came into the sector at a time when there was the hunger and there was a move towards reform. And the President Obasanjo looked for a Nigerian who had experience, the background and the capacity to be able to help the sector to gradually move from a government monopoly to arriving at a private sector enterprise.
Engineer Makoju brought his knowledge of science and technology to drive every industry that he had worked and led with crystal positive results.
My father was a true visionary and a transformational leader.
We have a lot of them, and we will encourage more of Makojus to come up.
What we benefit from a lecture is not just the words that are spoken, but what you pick from the lecture as add-ons to improve on existing conditions.
A memorial service in honor of the late icon Joseph Makoju held at Christ the King Catholic Church, Okene. Francis Udojo, NTA News.
And that's the end of the news. But before we go, remember that the National Population Census is 20 days away. Be counted so you can count. I am Lydia Odijochi. Thank you for watching.
I'm actually a passionate baker. I don't rest until everything is done.
When I entered university, anytime I'm broke, I'll make cupcakes and go and sell to the other students.
Decorating cake it's an artistic thing, and art is, dynamic.
Join us on Baker's World every Thursday on the network service of the NTA. Baker's World, celebrating creativity. Don't miss it.